Welcome back. So let's take a little deeper look into the class that we've created for our game button. So inside of our project, we can access that by right-clicking here and selecting Edit Class. So last time we were working with this, we created this new method called setLabel. It accepted a parameter, in this case a string, which we then reassigned to the label text field inside of this. Now, we did that so that each instance could uniquely define what its label is going to be. But sometimes there are things that we want to happen in every single instance of this. In this case, this is going to be a button. And I already have inside of the button two frames, one with a highlight and one with the normal state. In every single instance of this button, we wanted to automatically have the behavior and logic to be able to go between each one of those based on a mouse event. In this case, mouse over. So we can build all that functionality into the class so that we don't have to do it for each unique copy of the button. So let's go ahead and do that now. At the top here, I'm going to create a new event handler. In this case, we're going to say that add event listener mouse event dot mouse over. So that's the action we're listening for. When we do that, we want to then say, we want to name the callback function that we're going to work with. In this case, we'll call it roll over. If you notice, when we wrote rollover, you notice that turned blue. One of the things you need to be aware of is that when you're working with ActionScript, especially when working with custom classes, that you'll sometimes encounter objects like this where you're going to have a name conflict, specifically with something like rollover. So let's go ahead and give this a little bit different name. So let's call this hover over. There, that one's safe. That one stayed black. So let's create another one. Add event listener mouse event dot mouse over. Actually, we'll make that mouse out, and then we'll call this hover off. There. So we have two particular event listeners that we have here, and we have hover off and hover over. But you'll notice when I created this, I didn't say what it is. That's because these are going to be used for the existing class. So this is going to be this event listener is associated with this object. If we wanted to make that more explicit, we could put in this. A lot of people do that just to make the code more readable. So now when we have that, let's go ahead and create our two methods that will call hover over and hover off. Public function hover over, which is going to be accepting a mouse event. It's going to return nothing. And then in this case, we're going to say this, go to, and stop to. We'll go public function hover off, which is going to accept a mouse event, which is going to return nothing. This will go to and stop 1. So now if I save this and run, let's see what happens. So now when I roll over it, you'll see that each of the buttons now has that internal behavior. So I can continue to create additional buttons over and over and over again, and each one of them will have the ability to have a rollover and a roll-off state. You can also add other internal functions, like when I click, you might want to show an on state for when you actually click the button down. So you can quickly now do these and replicate this using classes. Now, there's one best practice when you're working with this, and that is in taking a lot of these event listeners and breaking them out into something that is something that's private or internal to your class. We're going to talk a little bit more about that and show you why we use this public statement inside of each of our ActionScript functions here. And we'll cover that in the next episode.